Welcome, sports fans. Welcome, rugby fans. Welcome, United States Military Academy rugby fans. My name is Mike Eisenhart. I am here at Anderson Rugby Complex at Warrior Field to bring you, along with some friends, the USMA Black Knights versus the Penn State Nittany Lions. It is Friday Night Lights, and we are at Anderson at Warrior Field about to get on with one of the excellent games of the season. This is East Rugby, part of the CRAA, and this is going to be a battle between number 10 going into October, which is Penn State, and number 6 going into October, which was USMA at Westwood. The Black Knights have since won a game, and so that may put them up a little bit above the number 6 spot. I'm expecting them to be as high as 5. They'll be chasing Navy the following week, next weekend, which is the first ranked one. So they've got a big bout on their schedule and a lot left to do. So the teams will be taking the field shortly. We can see that the teams are sort of corralled and they're looking to get out soon. We've got some storylines for you tonight. The first of which is we've got some big-time new players getting some starts tonight. So, first and foremost, let's talk about that. We've got Liam Walsh, the sophomore, who has been invited to the USA Rugby U20 camp that will be making the start. That's a big start. We've also got John Benson, who had quite a start the last time he was here, when we were here, at least 2, maybe 3 tries on the day. He also, the freshman, has gotten an invite to the USA Rugby U20 camp. And back today for the second time after having his season debut, coming back from injury against Air Force, is Benji Kemp in the 12 jersey. And so those are important groups to keep an eye on. That's one storyline. Second storyline, according to the coaches here at West Point, is going to be the battle of the set piece. We're expecting a real good battle when it comes to scrums and lineouts, so keep an eye for that. And then finally, last but certainly not least, one storyline that we've been watching very closely is the brothers Mizell, which is kind of an interesting one. Coach Jake Mizell, the assistant coach here at USMA, his older brother is the head coach at Penn State. Test 1, 2, test 1, 2. We're going to keep an eye on the sound here. We're getting some question marks about the sound. Not sure if you're getting us. We're going to make some corrections if you are at home. Just give us 1 minute. All right, sports fans, there it is. We've got the Army West Point lineup rolling out into the field. The Black Knights are making their way, and we are shortly going to bring you the lineups and the national anthem. So as we were saying in the opening, we've got some big storylines. One of them is the brothers Mizell. Assistant coach Jake Mizell will be up against his brother, Penn State head coach Zach Mizell. Had a chance to kind of catch up with their high school coach, and the way that he described it was Zach developed a real brain for the game, and Jake was an absolute hitter. We'll tell you more, but first we're going to break for the national anthem. So an awesome rendition of the national anthem gets us kicked off and gets us ready to go. Before we get started, we're just going to read off the lineups to you. We've got first Penn State. Unfortunately, we don't have them on the graphic, so we'll just read them off. We've got Teschnor, the number 1, Son, the number 2, Dabao, number 3, Ansley, the number 4, Mansfield, 5, Goldman, the freshman, at 6, Durkash at 7, Somerville, the captain, wearing the 8 jersey, Sarkis, 9, Lindop, 10, Zaplicki, the 11, Treister, 12, Blair, 13, Bruno, 14, and 15 is Lorenzo Zemel, the senior. And now we will flash up Army West Point. So your Black Knights are led by number 1, senior Dakota Wagner, 2, the captain, Andrew Bardak, 3, Gabe Savage, 4, Liam Walsh gets the start, the U20 berth, Landon Duffy, the junior, at 5, Robert Knight at 6, John Benson 7, Dylan Liskey 8, Isaac Gamboa wears the 9, Schrichty at 10, Schmidlin at 11, Benji Kemp at 12, returning, Loudenbach at 13, Leslie at 14, and Heller, the vice captain, at 15. We are off. The kick makes its way into the corner, and we will immediately see a line out.
Obviously, Zach and Jake Mizell playing against each other, scrum won by Army.
So now, Army gets to work. Driving is the Maul. Stays on its feet. Continues down the field, rolling, and continues to the 40. An impressive start. Just continues to hammer it down the field. And you might think that Jake Mizell is trying to send a message. Now the ball out to the back, and it swings into the corner. We've got Isaac Gamboa with ball in hand. Finds Schmidlin, who gives it a little kick, sends it into the try zone. The chase is on, and Penn State is going to have to bring it back out on the goal line dropout. Join with me now in the booth after that exciting start, Major Colin McGee. Colin, that is a way to get this thing rolling.
Yeah, as we just kind of mentioned, Jake Mizell bringing out a line out to Maul inside the 22, went about 25 meters right there, maybe sending an early message to his brother, Zach, on the Penn State sideline.
And so now the goal line dropout. Again, for those at home, a goal line dropout happens after the attacking team takes the ball in. And now we have Dakota Wagner taking it in, spins off, and rolls. Now the ball out. Coming across the field, looking for space. This is Schmidlin again. Good tackle. The ruck is on. Ball is available for Gamboa. Gamboa brings it out. This is the 7, Benson, the freshman, who has had a really blazing start. Now the ball comes out again. That's the 3, Savage. Once again to the right side of the field. That looked to me to be 13, Loudenbach. Once again, it's out. Not much there. Sealed over, and Gamboa looks to turn it the other way. Big double contact. Tries to get the shoulders forward as Liskey. Now Kemp brings it forward and gains a few. Penn State trying to get out of the way. There's the arm. Penalty advantage is on, and that's going to stop the game. So referee says not rolling. Got caught on the wrong side of the ball, and Army will have a penalty in the midfield, about maybe 30 meters out.
Slick play by Isaac Gamboa. I think he saw that Penn State defender not rolling quick enough to his liking, saw that, took advantage of it. Looks like we're looking to post and Howie Heller to get on the board within the first 3 minutes of this match.
So Heller calls his shot, and the tee makes its way out. Good position to take those early points, and in a matchup like this where you've got the number 10 entering versus the number 6 entering the month of October, every point's going to count. The history of this game is incredibly even over the last 10 years. Was looking into it earlier in the week, and it's 8-7. 8 wins to West Point, 7 to Penn State over the last 10 years. That's pretty good. Heller lines up. Kick is up, and that looks good. It's through. And that's going to put the first 3 on the board to Army.
Great start by Army. I don't think Coach Sherman would have wanted much better. It's great to see Court Schmidlin on this left wing. Got a couple opportunities to use him in his left boot, which comes in handy as that left winger on that side of the pitch.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. He did a nice job to put it into the try zone before. Here's the kick. It's back up. And now Army's met with some resistance. Good, strong double tackle by Penn State. Looked to have hands on, but was blown out afterward. Now, trying to get that go forward are the Black Knights. Could be a box kick lined up. Looks like it. And they fake. They bring it out instead. Showing some deception early. Gamboa once again in the width, looking for Schmidlin. Finds him. There's the left boot that you were talking about. Places it in nicely. Is it going to sit down? Big try zones, but it's out the back. So Schmidlin twice or 3 times now has gotten that ball in the width. 2 times found the foot. That one was just a little long, but you can see the intention is there.
We can typically take advantage of these long try zones. I'm surprised that ball really landed that far. I think in terms of most pitches, this is one of the longer ones in terms of the depth of that try zone. But a great wrinkle. We thought it was going to go to box kick. We've seen that box kick go long. We've seen us compete with it. Now you see the fake box kick out to the back, found some space there. A nice wrinkle by Army.
Yeah, I thought box kick all the way. He showed it pretty well, sold it, decided to pull it down. And now the scrum right in front of the booth. We'll get a good idea of what the platforms are looking like. There's the engage, and now the ball is in. Army with a big drive, starts to get some momentum, and the penalty as well. So the collapsed scrum goes the way of Army, and they are showing that they came to play with some intensity tonight. It's a good crowd here at home, and a couple storylines that we didn't mention in the opener is that it's also, correct me if I'm wrong, a reunion weekend for a couple of the classes here. It's a nice strike. And they get it down to, well, let's call it about maybe 12.
Yeah, Mike, you're exactly right. About 20 Army Rugby alumni here for the weekend celebrating the 2005 reunion and the 2015 reunion. Really special evening down here at Anderson Rugby Complex.
So big energy for sure. Here's the line out. It's up, taken well, and once again they show, but now pull out of the ball. Bardak delivers. Now, ball comes out. Kemp looking for some space, gets a few after contact. Ball is available, and it's absolute dive on the pile there. Referee has the arm out, says you lost your feet doing so. Now Gamboa brings it. Kemp sidesteps and able to get rid of the tackler. Big shooting tackler comes up. That was the 14. Now they'll go back for the penalty. So the diving over penalty results in a real good spot here for Army, about 5 meters out and almost in front of the posts. There's the tap and the drive. They bring it within about 1. Now the bowl over. Gamboa decides to take it himself, sees the A gap open, and it pays off in 5 points. They bring it within about real headsy play there. Got the defender leaning and just Gamboa decides to take it forward. Congratulations to Isaac Gamboa.
He's not the biggest player on the pitch, but he is aggressive, and he will find those small little gaps throughout the pitch. He did it a couple weeks ago against Mount St. Mary's down in Maryland. Went for about 18 meters. This time just had to go about 1 or 2, but very sneaky by Isaac.
So Heller lines up. Hits the post, unfortunately, and that's going to leave it at 8.
Last night, I had the opportunity to go to the jersey presentation and hear Coach Sherman talk about a couple things. This is an opportunity for the Army's new best performance, and they need to be confident that they can achieve that. It's been a bit of a disjointed season in terms of when they're playing, but they're ready for the opportunity to get that new best performance.
Ball is up and taken right near the sideline, just inside the 22. Army's going to get back to work. So Penn State has tried to test that deeper kick and try to pin them deep. We'll see what happens this time. Once again, this time showing box kick. We'll see if they deliver. Decide not to. Now out to the back, and there's the kick looking for touch. So the flag is up. The ball has found touch, and it'll be a line out to Penn State, about 35 meters from their pay dirt. Penn State shows the walk-up line out. Decides to look toward the front. Now they switch it up, bring it out the back, and it is taken well. Now it's brought out. Out to the front runner. Hard to catch the number there. Now the ball out. This is the 13. Blair. Now out to the captain, who's met with good resistance. Coming out to the left side of the field. Army stiff in the double tackle. Not a lot going there. Now a little step ball is lost. Question if it's a knock on. The arm is out, says we're playing an advantage. And so it will come back for a scrum for the knock-on advantage. Referee of the center there, Ciccarella, says lost it in contact and it went forward, which means that it is a knock-on to Army.
I know we spoke about it this week, Mike, in preparation for this game, but amazing to see Benji Kemp back in the 12 jersey. Last spring, suffered a pretty gruesome injury, worked his way back, played a couple B-side matches, was out at Air Force, got back into his 12 jersey. So really proud to see Benji back at Anderson Rugby Complex and in the starting lineup today.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I traded a text over the week with his dad and just said, I'm sure you're both really happy to see him back out there. As a dad of a player, there could be nothing worse than watching an injury sideline you. So we'll see. Now the ball comes back. Little assistance there by the 6, who now picks it up and takes it to about midfield. Now the ball comes across. So that was Knight, the 6, doing the work, and now Army back to work. Little step over there. That was the freshman, Benson. A little difficult to tell him and Walsh apart with the matching scrum caps. Now the ball out. Little pop over the top. And the free kick is called. So the mark is called, and again, for those at home, you don't see that too often, but when the arm goes up and the player inside the 22 calls for the mark, they get a free kick from that spot. Now the ball is kicked back. That is a bomb of a kick, high in the lights, but it's fielded nicely. That was Sarkis, the scrum half, who brought it in. This one finds some green, and they'll make some decisions on where to go. They've got numbers coming down this side. We'll see what they can do with it. There's the inside pass. Now again, and this is the freshman Benson, who just does it again. This kid is showing some real impressive stuff. Gets around the inside pass, makes things happen. Now again, and this is the freshman Benson who just does it.
John Benson, as Mike said, a plebe, a freshman here at the academy, making an immediate impact in his first year with the team. The leading try scorer right there. Some great kick and chase there. We sent some bombs down there. And I was talking to Coach Zach Mizell before the game. He said 2 things that you got to do if you're going to compete with Army, and 2 things that he thought would lead to success for them is work rate and effort. I'm not sure how happy he is going to be with how his team responded in getting organized, defending that kick that they had.
Yeah, that was, I would say once the ball was up, it was sort of like this poor winger on the side with the pink scrum cap was in some trouble, and I think he knew it. He had 3 coming down on him. So Heller's going to line up and try to find the posts. Kick is up. That looks good from here, and the flags go up for 2 more.
Restart by Penn State. Tough to tell. It went straight out. Army goes quick down the sideline. Heller forward. Well recovered by Penn State.
Now the kick is up, and it's back. Army looking to find this spot. A little bit of a tough pass, but now it's fielded. Schmidlin again looking for the width, and this is Kemp. Puts one down. That's a question. There is the arm, and it's coming across. So real interesting tactic here on the near side in front of the stands by the 14, Bruno, the vice captain, the winger. Shot after the kick, gets penalized for that, and then a little exchange afterwards. So we'll see what happens in that storyline as Army decides whether they're going to kick or just take the penalty where they would have done it. So here it is, and now they'll look to kick into the corner and maybe set up that maul. And there it is. And it's just about as good as you can get, about 6-7 meters out for the line out. That one's brought down easily. Ball is formed, and Army looks like they're just going to try to push it through. Still moving forward. Gamboa talks to him and directing traffic, but it's at the back of the maul, and it's still moving. Breaks off, and that time puts himself in for another. So well read. And the score is 20-0. So that's 2 for Gamboa, who finds the space on that one. A little bit of a slip, but was able to finish with his one movement on the ground and dot it down.
Yeah, once again, finding that little bit of space. It's powerful when he sees that space. It's quick. It's hard to defend. But what a start by Army. 20 up within the first 15 minutes.
Once again, Heller lines up. Kick is up. That one's going to pull a little bit to the left and not going to get through. So that's going to stay at 20. And with 17 and change gone on the field clock and 17 on our clock, score remains 20-0. So I think it's fair to say the energy on both sides of this is high. And Army is coming out really looking to dominate early. And so far, I think they got to be feeling good about things. It's a long game, and I know the coach likes to play that attritional rugby, as you've mentioned in the past, and so there can be no slowing down. And they get back to work as the wind blows here at Warrior Field. Now they bring the ball back. This time the box kick is up, and it's going to be chased nicely. It's brought backward. And they look to kick it back. Did it hit a hand is the question. Still in play. No whistle. Army jams it right back in. Now they look to get something going. A little bit isolated here, but now the ruck forms. Now Gamboa looks to bring it out. This is Walsh. The big second row barrels forward for a few more. And now Army settles a bit, gets back into their shape. Gamboa puts a short one up over. Again, big pressure and a nice attempt. That one's going to be a penalty and could be minimum stern warning, possible card. There was contact in the air. So we'll see what that result is. And there is a conversation happening with the captain. So we shall see. That one does bring out the card, and that's going to send Army to the sin bin for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, Mike, before I was going to comment, it's an amazing atmosphere here at Anderson Rugby Complex. Energy is high, and it's important. How do you harness that energy? How do you control your energy to get back to your fundamentals, to get back in the phase you play? And I thought Army was doing that way better during this first 20. Penalty count was 4-0. Now, obviously, we have one on the board and one in the penalty, one with a yellow right now. So it'll be interesting to see how we respond down to 14 men.
The kick does not find touch, and now it comes out directly. So kind of a strange exchange there. So it's Leslie who's going to serve the 10 for making the contact in the air, which, of course, is a degree of danger, which is why you see the yellow card there. Then the penalty kick didn't find touch. Army sends it back, and then Penn State sends it back again, but goes directly out, which means it's Army's line out right here at the 22. They go to the back. It's a little, it's fielded nicely. I did not catch the number. Could have been Wagner coming through over the top, but fields it nicely. That looked planned. Not sure. Big contact, brought down, and the ball's available. Player down for Army. Now the offload through hands. Once again, coming back to the left side. Gamboa deals it out. Army knocking at the door. They're now within about 10 meters, maybe 8. That was the senior night. Once again, the try scorer, Benson. Now the captain, Bardak, looks for some space. Gets the shoulders down. Hands on the ball, and referee says you did not release the tackle. So the penalty goes Army's way because Penn State did not release the tackle before they tried to hold on to the ball. So that's a tricky call, but definitely one that is being enforced tighter this year. If the tackler is over the ball, they've got to release and get back on their side before they can make an attempt.
Yeah, and Michael, unfortunately, we still have Dakota Wagner down on that far side who received that ball off that overthrown line out. Jacob Bonarini warming up. Looks like he's prepared to come in his stead, but feel for Dakota Wagner out there. Hope everything's well.
Definitely showing some signs of discomfort, but hopefully he's doing okay there. We'll see what happens here. 21 and change. We'll pause the clock and get some further info on how he's doing. Looks like they're sending out a crew to help him off the field. Can't quite make out where the attention's being given. So Wagner starts to make his way off. Looks to be the left leg, possibly ankle or knee. Hope he's okay. And it's Bottarini who will join the game. Looks to be putting some weight on the leg, so that's a good sign. We'll hope for the best. So Army gets ready to use this penalty, which is 7, maybe 8 meters out. Again, storyline is they're a man down, but you wouldn't be able to tell. They decide to kick it to the corner, and it's going to be a line out, which has been successful so far, about 6 meters out.
So, Mike, they've showed the fake maul, and they've hit the maul. I think they're going to go maul here, but we'll see.
There it is. And they've got some momentum. Driving in and possibly over. There is the hand, and we'll catch the number. Could be Bottarini. It was Bardak, the senior captain, who adds 5. Textbook maul. The hooker comes around the back and becomes the final person. So great job there. And real strong power in that ball.
The pace that they established the line out, I think, is also impressive. You go, get the touch, get everybody organized quickly, seize the initiative, get it over the try line, and they organize well. And as Coach Zach Mizell said, you got to match their work rate and their effort. You got to get set. You got to get ready to compete. And maybe they were just a little slow to the mark there to compete against that maul.
Heller's kick comes across a bit left, so no extras there. But one comment there that real good point you make is how fast they form that thing. And they might be the only team right now that are playing by the law, right? Supposed to form that thing immediately, 30 seconds to form the lineup. They're there ready to go in 10. So that work rate has got to be daunting if you're an opponent. Ball comes up, goes to the left side of the screen again, bounces in before it bounces out. And so we'll see the line out once again. That one is taken by Penn State, and to the 22 they go. So this is one of their best attacking positions so far. The strip attempt was a good one, but not able to complete it. Now the ball out to the left. Looks like they may have a number out there. Of course, they should somewhere since they are still playing a man up. Big contact, an absolute shot is made. And now the ball is bobbled. It's brought back in, so no knock on there. Penn State still looking. Not much going on. Again, a big contact driven backwards. So Army winning the contact area and getting those dominant tackles and marching Penn State back. That one's not handled. Knock-on advantage is being played. And so now Army will look. Heller puts it up and over, has the distance, drills a kick. The bounce is friendly to Penn State. Now they're going to decide what to do. They decide to go straight in. Ball gets ripped. Questionable on the knock-on there. Ball is out, says the referee. Now that one traveled forward, and the arm is out. So Army will have the ball. They'll play the advantage. Going to look long and see if they can change the field, have the numbers. One more pass ought to do it. And here we go. Now, this is about the second time now that they have made contact after the kick late, and the AR is right on it. So once again, it's the vice captain, Bruno, who's penalized for hitting after the kick is made.
I think I agree with you, Mike. I think they went back for a forward pass.
Okay, you're absolutely right. They did. Penn State has ball in hand, and so the scrum is on. You are 100% right. So they thought that final pass to Loudenback was forward, and so Penn State will scrum it down. I thought for sure they were coming back for that late contact.
Me as well.
So the last scrum we saw in this position on the field was a real hard drive by Army, and once again, there it is. Ball is available, but referee says that you came upward. It was not a straight push, and so the penalty goes to Penn State. So the push has to be straight, and so Army gets hit for that one. Now Penn State looks to bring it out wide. There's the kick out of hand, and it is stopped and taken into touch. The quick line out is on, and now Army back to work. So Penn State not satisfied maybe with their line out, try to give them a different look, go for the quick line out. Now the ball out to the left side. Hard contact, but gains a few after. Little bit of a tough pass. That one is a knock on. It's going to go back to Army on the scrum.
Yeah, reversing back to the scrum penalty on Army. Bardak wanted to talk to the ref about it, see what was going on. Penn State goes quick. I think that's immediately an amazing call. They start playing quick, trying to get this game going a little bit quicker, muck it up a little bit. you know, as you're down 25-0, then go to the quick line out, try to continue to put a little wrinkle into the game. But they're having a tough time controlling the ball. That's several knocks in a row. And I tend to think a cause of that would be that the shots that Army is putting in
very strong hitting going on.
Could be affecting the mindset of the Penn State players who are trying to receive these balls.
Now, we'll keep an eye out. I did not see Leslie re-enter the game yet, but it's got to be close. Gamboa looks. Brings it out. Heller sends it. Finds the green and takes a real good Army roll. Enters the try zone, but now what? They did not touch it down. And now they kick it back. That one finds touch. So it will be an Army lineout. So real good territory gain on the kick.
We're putting in some bombs, but I have noticed that wind might be going south to north a little bit, carrying that ball for Army a little bit. Can see that far AR's flag.
Lineout is up and brought down. Maul forms. Oh, will you look at that? That's quality work. So the maul attempt, Penn State says we're not in it, and so Army just splits it and runs it right down the middle. Smart play, well coached there. Good job by Coach Mizell. Keep them heads up in the pack. Army again in real good attacking position here. Gamboa looks, finds Kemp, sidesteps one, right around the 5-meter line. Now it's back out again. Thought about bringing it in. That was Schrichty. This is Knight. Big clean out. Botterini. Penn State doing a good job defending right now so far. Gamboa looks. Schmidlin joins. Hands on the ball, but the clean out is good. Once again, Army just banging it forward. Hard to see. Now Gamboa brings it. And there we have it. The number 10, Cole Schrichty, goes in and gets 5 more to put the score at 30.
The fly half, Colby Schrichty doing it himself. Attacks that line hard, makes that defense think, do I want to push? Do I want to attack? He doesn't give them time to think about that and slams through that gap. Very athletic move by Colby Schrichty, but some good, slow, methodical ball carrying in there that sucked in that defense that allowed that to happen. And we should have Jack Reed back on after this conversion attempt by Howie Heller.
Kick is up and once again a little to the left, and so the score remains at 30.
Penn State is coming off a win last week, a very good win against St. Bonaventure. I talked to Coach Zach Mizell about it. He thought that, you know, that might give him some momentum moving into this week. They've been getting better, but they haven't got that result. They got that result last week.
So the high ball is taken, met with some real good tackle there by Penn State, but Army retains and gets back to work. Now the box kick. Good chase. And that time, good defense there by the 14. That one looked to be another knock. And as you mentioned, the handling troubles continue. So both teams back to full strength. About 32 gone. So we'll see the scrum with about 7.5, 8 minutes left to play in this first half. 30-0, and I don't know that anyone would have predicted this.
No, it's an interesting week. It's been an interesting season for West Point. A little just disjointed. Obviously, only one loss down at Life. Huge matchup next weekend against Navy. Maybe is this a hiccup game for West Point? But they are locked in tonight. They are getting after that new best that Coach Sherman always tries to achieve.
Now the ball out, finds Kemp out the back. Cross, it's taken well. Wow, really pulled it back in, so good work there. Heller and Bruno fought there for that ball, and Heller wound up with it. Now the ball out. Night over. Boa decides to come back the other way. Quick hands, crosses Benson. Now the 13 to Schmidlin. There we go, into the corner, going to make a step. Does so. And finds the try zone. That was an improbable line, but absolutely makes it count. Really good series of passing from the final one from Loudenbach to Schmidlin, and they find the try zone once again.
What a degree of skill and several incredible individual efforts. Howie Heller coming up with that ball there, basically ripping out of the Penn State player's hands, and then that finish by Court Schmidlin, really impressive.
Kick is up. Little bit of an overcorrection. That one goes to the right. And so the score remains at 35. Looked to me like we've got some new players joining the game in Carter and Hartford wearing the 18 and 19. Did not see who is heading out, but we'll see if we can get those numbers. Could be
Gabe Savage and Landon Duffy.
Okay, Duffy is off. So once again, now the ball comes back and it's kicked back. Again, if that wind is on, something's on, because those kicks are absolutely traveling distance. Now Penn State decides to run it out. Is upended, but he went over the top. Referee says you're fine there. Now the ball is out. Arm is out for playing the scrum half, most likely, so we're playing a penalty advantage to Penn State. That one is knocked, and so we'll come back for the penalty. So again, this year, real strict rules about playing the scrum half in the ruck, and so it's possible that that was the call. So Penn State will look to find touch. And they do. So they'll be their line out around, just around the 40-meter.
Mike, 35 points in 35 minutes by Army. Their play right to left and the passes that they're making, the distances that they're getting out on them is really incredible. And most teams are better passing right to left. It's on your dominant hand for most players, but really taking advantage, throwing that ball out there and finding space.
Lineout's up, and it's taken. Penn State wins it, and now looks to bring it out. Once again, big firm contact in the middle of the field. Now that little switch play, and that one worked out well. They look, Penn State might have what it takes to get on the board here. Gamboa tries, but they are able to get on with 5 on that inside ball. So pretty slick play there by the Nittany Lions. You can see their scrum half looked all the way and then sold that reverse sort of pocket cut. And through the defense, Penn State goes. So now it'll be the number 9 who lines up for the kick. That is J.W. Sarkis, the freshman. Charge down attempt is close. That one gets through, brings the score up to 7. So 35-7 with 37 minutes. And Penn State has to feel good about that one, and now they get the chance to attack a little bit, get the ball back.
Yeah, great to get on the board as we're ending this first half, and they might have some wind advantage coming out for the second 40.
One of the things that has stood out for me so far in what you've mentioned about that ball movement is having Schmidlin out here on this side seems to have made a real difference. And that might be the Kemp factor, who now can play in the middle and he can push him out. And that changes some things. Now the ball out. Good contact. But Heller's able to get his body in good position. And referee says knocked it in the contact. And so Penn State will take over at the scrum near the midline. Good awareness of the game there by Howie Heller, who was teed up pretty well to take a good shot and was able to get his body in good position and sort of withstand it. Unfortunately, lost the ball on the ground.
Be an interesting scrum. I think the attacking scrum, or the defensive scrum for Army, has been rather dominant. 1-1 penalty, gave up a penalty here. We'll see what happens on this third scrum here. Scrum center, I'm sure Penn State likes that attacking position and will want to win this ball.
Penn State showing 3 stacked. Now they look to go to the left. 8-man pick. 8-man finds some space. Now is brought down by Liskey. Comes across. They look to latch and drive. Now just outside the 22. Gonna look to recycle. Sarkis brings it. Little isolated here. We'll see if Army tries to poach the ball. Instead, they try to hold up the defense and see if they can stop it, but the tackle finds ground, and so now the ball recycles again. Hard run there by the prop. And now the flick is through. So Penn State showing some athleticism and gets 5 more on the board.
Some real confidence in their attack. A great scrum right there, kept the ball. Great play with those 3 stacked playmakers, but just the 8-man, big carry, maybe gave a lot of people to look at behind them. Didn't really take care of the first threat. Good line break. Then we're on our heels. Good attacking, clean, simple rugby by Penn State to get through the posts.
Pick is up, and it's good, bringing the score 35-14. So now things have to get settled. And so that is the halftime. So with 40 minutes gone and the whistle blowing at 35-14, we'll pause things there and be back to you in just a few. Thanks so much again for joining us here on Army YouTube, Army West Point Athletics Night Vision. We'll be back after halftime. We'll see what they can do with it. There's the inside pass. Now We are for the start of the second half. It is 35-14 in favor of the Army Black Knights. The teams have switched sides, and Penn State now on the right side of the screen, Army on the left. We had a moving ceremony there at halftime. Thank you for joining and watching that as some of the Army alumni laid wreaths for two of their fallen. It is an absolutely high energy, high emotion place, and that just absolutely topped it off. So we're getting ready to start the second half. And referee making a few comments and discussion points with the captain Bardak before that happens. It's Howie Heller with the ball in hand. Bardak just relays the message to the team, as is the job of the captain. And now, referee Ciccarella says we're ready to go. Clock restarts, and Heller brings it down the field. It's taken, and now the tackle is made, and Army will look to form their shape. Ball comes out. Penn State shows kick, and to the far side of the field it goes. Army decides not to kick, finds Schmidlin, who looks to find some space. Now the ball taken by Penn State at around the 22, and they'll make some decisions. So a territory battle there. Once again, the prop is met with big resistance and brought to the deck. Now the ball out. Once again, Penn State shows kick, and the spiral bomb is sent. Comes out past the 40, and now Heller decides. Puts it back, looks to find some space. Does so, takes an Army run, and now the pressure comes up. Kick back is good, and once again, it's Heller who's in position to field it. Heller goes with Gamboa in tow. Is met with contact and loses the ball forward. And so the first knock on Army will result in a Penn State scrum. So some territory work there by both squads. Penn State trying to show that kick, and if my partner here in the booth is correct, the wind is traveling toward from the right to the left. Certainly they're going to try to take advantage of it in this second half, as Army did in the first half. So we'll see if that theme holds. Another theme we saw in the first half was Army's push in the scrum. Really had a dominant push. Unfortunately, we're penalized one time for not pushing straight. So we'll see if that adjustment has been made and where they go from here. There it is. Ball is placed. It's hooked. And now comes out. Ball out to the right. Once again, Penn State shows kick. And it finds some green. Takes a Penn State bounce. And now, after slipping, they're able to regather and keep going. Referee says that was a knock-on, so the advantage is being played. So an unfortunate knock-on there for Army results in a scrum for Penn State in really pretty good attacking position. And once again, join with me here in the booth for the second half, Major Colin McGee. Welcome back.
Thanks, Mike.
Good to see you out there as part of that ceremony of the half.
Yeah,
pretty powerful stuff.
Super special in honor of 05 Rugger, Tom Martin, and Coach Mike Mahan, godfather of Army Rugby, class in 1970.
So now the scrum. Army looks to dig in. It rolls and wheels, and the penalty goes to Army. Looks to me like Penn State lost binds, and so Army will get the penalty there from the scrum. So that's good news for the Army fans, and now looks like Heller will try to clear the space and gain some territory. So the vice captain puts it on his foot and finds touch. And right at around the 40-meter line, Army will get the line out. So it'll be real interesting to see what adjustments, if any, are made on both sides of the ball. It looks like we've got a substitute coming on for Penn State. Did not see who was headed off, but that's certainly one change. Now the ball in. It's taken cleanly. No engage. Now a late engage by Penn State, and the ball finds the ground. Free says play on. Nothing nefarious there. Now the tackle is made. Pick and go. Finds a little space. Cross the 50. That could have been Benson. Once again, the winger, Bruno, comes through and makes a good hard hit. Certainly a factor here in the game and an energy source for the Penn State team. Now the box kick is up. Under some real pressure, but fielded. And Penn State just outside the 22, so they'll have to keep it in play. The kick is up. Finds some green, takes a roll. It's going to be Gamboa who's able to field. Decides to hand that one back. Now trying to find the edge is Army. And that's Schrichty, who gains a few. Handled, and unfortunately, that is a knock-on. So now Army's had a few knock-ons, maybe a little bit of happy hands here, and just going to need to settle it down. Certainly we saw that in the first half on Penn State. So both sides have had that, and now the scrum will go to Penn State.
Yeah, Mike, I didn't know how much you recapped it while I was away, but a dominant 35 minutes of rugby by Army. Fell off that last 5 minutes. Penn State was able to take advantage of some opportunities. 14 unanswered going into the half, and this next try, whoever can get on the board next, will be exceptionally important as we fight through the rest of this 80-minute match.
Yeah, you definitely get the feeling like right now momentum is up for grabs. And the scoreline is too close to take anything for granted, so both teams are looking for it. Referee going to have some conversation with the Penn State front row and possibly just make sure they're in good position and alignment here, and then they'll get back to work.
And we can't forget the Gabe Savage and Landon Duffy substitution that happened in about the 36th minute. We put in some fresh players. Maybe weren't ready to make that immediate impact needed to settle in. Penn State was able to take advantage of that. So now we're really seeing those 2 reserves, 3 reserves for Army coming in, trying to settle into the game and play the rugby that they want to be playing.
That one finds the ground. Army says, we feel good about it, but referee feels it was an even collapse and nothing wrong with it, just going to reset their feet. So here's an interesting bit for you. I traded texts with Doug Neubauer, who was the high school coach of the brothers Mizell. And I asked him, if you were a betting man, what would happen in this game between these two? Would they really come in ready to play? And he said, these are 2 of the most competitive people I've ever seen on the field. Both did great work for me in high school and were a big part of our multiple state championships. And so, yes, I think they're both ready to go for the win. Now Penn State picks. The 8-man peels off. Gamboa, the first contact. Now they look again. Sarkis brings it out into the space, but is found by a couple of different black jerseys. Good attempt at the poach, but not able to keep hands on. Liskey loses feet, so has to let go of the ball. Now, showing that flood maneuver and the penalty or knock-on. It is a knock-on, so that's going to go the way of Army. So an interesting tactic there by Penn State. They're sending multiples into a very small space. And they look to bring another substitute on. So that's going to be the 15 leaving the game. Zamel. And we see a new player entering. Clock continues to tick, 48:18 here on the field clock, and a little more on our scoreboard clock as the scrums form.
So if West Point plays it out to the playmakers, we're once again scrum right, so passing right to left on that dominant hand for these players. Took advantage of that in the first half, getting that ball way wide to Court Schmidt and letting him use that left boot. I wonder if we'll try to use the same tactic here.
Army shows multiple layers in their backs. Gamboa now brings it. and sees the referee in the way and has to change directions. And so now Leslie puts it on his foot. That one is going to stay in before it bounces out.
22.
You cannot get a whole lot better than that.
Wow.
I thought that was going out on the full all the way, but just drops in, bounces in before it bounces out, and they gain some big territory.
What placement and what bounce. And that Penn State player was just stunned. He didn't know where he was on the field, if he should play it, if he should let it bounce, and then just the most unfortunate bounce to get it out.
So the 50-22 results in Army line out. So again, for those at home who may not know the game, if you kick the ball behind your 50 and it bounces out beyond the 22, it's your line out. Now the ball comes out. This is Kemp looking to find some space. Big clean out, and now the ball's available. Once again, they're all over Gamboa in the ruck, and so he looks to be asking the referee maybe what's going on there. And there is the penalty. So again, this year, new law, can't hit the scrum half or the ball, whoever's playing the ball at the back of the ruck. Army decides to call the shot and go for 3 more. See if they can get it onto the board. So good position if you're Army for this kick. Straight in front. Little breeze, but not too much wind. We'll see if they can make this one count. Ball is up, and it's through. So that's going to bring 3 more and add the first points of the second half, making it 38-14 with 50, almost 52 gone, 51 gone.
You see the impacts of penalties in the game of rugby. I'm counting up to 7 for Penn State, 5 in the first, 2 so far in these first 11 minutes in the second, to 2 for Army. Obviously, Army went down with a yellow for 10 minutes, but you just got to be disciplined, especially in Rugby East competitive games. You can't put yourself in that big of a hole or you're going to be fighting uphill the rest of the day.
Kick is up. It's a nice high kick. It's taken by Kemp. Shows some footwork. That looked to be a little bit high, but referee was okay with it. It brought it back down. Now the ball is out. This is Walsh. Benson cleans out. Knight is through. Referee says you are way offsides. You jumped and then stuck with it, and so that's going to be a penalty. Looked to me like Penn State player was trying to argue that he had played the ball. Referee said no, he did not. Hands on, but no movement. So the touch finder is successful, and Army will have the line out.
Once again, Andrew Bardak wants to keep this pace up in the lineouts. You still got Penn State trying to organize here, and we're up and playing.
That is impressive. Referee says, hold on. Going to have a conversation about it. Did not catch what the call was, maybe not at the mark. And now they'll redo it. They go to the front jumper successfully, and the maul is formed. Now it finds the ground. Now the ball out. Kemp. Good double tackle by Penn State. Big contact there on Benson. He's able to find ground. Now the pick by Liskey. Bardak tries to get in on it. Good hip over and a nice seal by Benson. There's Bottarini. Still on his feet, lurching for a few more. Penn State has a player down. Referee says hold the space. Possibly just a cramp. Just lay down, and now we go. Keller sends one. Tough play. Little miscommunication back there, and Army there to make the tackle. Ball out. Now they're going to look to kick. They show kick and they send it, unfortunately, real close to the player who's cramping. Referee says we're okay to continue. Oh, an unfortunate pass. The no-look pass does not work out. And so referee says, we're going to pause the time there for a second and have a bit of a conversation, find out what's going on here with the injured player.
Unfortunate creative play, trying to use that little bit of space within the 5-meter line of the touch. We talked about how the first person who scored out of this half after the Penn State 14 unanswered, then the second half was going to be exceptionally important. We did get on the board with these 3. I'd like us to keep this energy, this attack, this aggressiveness on and use the momentum for getting the 3-point to keep it going. But can't play outside of ourselves and throw the ball away like that.
So Penn State shows the line out. They go to the back. They show them all. And now it's formed. Looks like it's been stopped. Now it tries to find ground. Ball not available. And so referee says it was not made available. So that's going to go the way to Penn State, or go the way of Army. So good work for the Army crew there to stifle them all and get it to stop, and results in their scrum.
Super smart play by Liam Walsh. It's a maul. It goes to ground. He can be there. He doesn't have to move, and he just has to lay there. If they can't play it, Army scrum is what he earned for us right there.
So again, for the fans at home that may not follow the game closely, the maul must continue to travel forward and remain on its feet. Once it finds ground, assuming it finds ground in a legal way, you have to be able to play the ball immediately. So just as Major McGee said, ball not available, goes to Army. Gamboa looks, and that bind drops here on the near side. So the loose head prop, the substitute, not able to maintain his bind. They're just going to reset it. That is Ty Reyes, the junior, who's having some conversation with the referee.
Scrum on the right side of the pitch again. Once again, we like that. Right-handed, dominant people like passing right to left. Last time, a little bit further back, Isaac tried to play that ball. Maybe the ref was in the way, didn't like the picture that he saw. It'll be interesting to see what we got here. I think you either see a Kemp crash line or you see Schrichty out the back.
Now the ball comes back. Gamboa sends it. It is to Kemp, who looks, decides to come through. Quick recycle. Now it's Schrichty trying to bring it wide. Clean out is successful. Now Gamboa takes it. Looks back inside. Did not catch the number there, but a big drive on. Solid contact on both sides. And referee says you were not onside when you came across. And so the penalty once again goes to Army.
4th penalty for Penn State in the first 16 minutes of this second half.
Heller finds touch easy, and Army will have the line out. Let's call it maybe 15 meters out. So Sanchez enters the game, and looks like that'll be it for Kemp. Oh, Heller, sorry. Apologies. So Kemp stays on. Howie Heller comes off, and Noah Sanchez goes in at fullback. Ball is up. It's taken. Ball is shown. Finds ground. Now it's available, and it comes out. This is Kemp. Referee says that is a penalty. Did not catch Y, possibly coming in from the side on the clean out. So Penn State able to relieve some pressure here. It's Gatherer who looks to give it the kick and finds touch. So Penn State will have the line out, and another substitution looks to come on. That's 23, Jack Reed entering the game. And now it's Kemp coming off. Looks like Schmidlin will move into the centers, and Reed will go out to that far wing. Line out toward the back. It does not find the jumper. It's gathered in. Now the offload. Army back to work. About 10 meters out. Gamboa looks. Good line speed and pressure there by Penn State. Crash line. Gamboa sees some space, decides to attack the A gap, and that could be very close. Not the try yet. Looked to be Benson who was real close. Now the ball out. Schmidlin through the space, and there is no signal yet. No signal, and there it is. Okay, try awarded. I did not catch who took that line.
Chance Loudenbach. Perfect line off court. Schmidlin had options out the back that I think Penn State might have been looking at. Gave that inside ball, crashed a little hard. Easiest point from A to B is a straight line, and that's what Chance Loudenbach took to dot that down.
So 2 more replacements for Army as they line up for the kick. Looks like Bardak, and maybe that's
Joey Knight.
Joey Knight. We'll see who stepped on. Let's see if we can catch those numbers for you. So one of the 2 that just joined is Lasky.
And Brock Anderson,
the sophomore.
at a hooker for Bardak.
Now the kick is up, and it's a little bit off center, and so the score will remain at 43.
You commented on it earlier, Mike. This attack that we've seen from Army is some of the most sophisticated I've seen in a while, especially this year. And it's because of a couple of reasons. Obviously, Benji kept back in the centers, but I think it's the development and the climb that Colby Strickty at the fly half position has put in.
Big high ball. Walsh goes up for it. It's tipped. And referee says that one was knocked. So tipped backward and then knocked on, and so it'll be the Army scrum. Real good restart. Very high ball. Walsh had to go up for it with assistance and couldn't quite bring it down. So outside the 22 is Army, which means they will not try to exit, at least not directly. Scrum finds ground, and that time it's a penalty. Once again, says the loose head prop for Penn State was not able to maintain their binds and drops the scrum. Was the second time he was looking for it. The first time he talked to him, this time he hit him with a penalty. And so this time it's Strickty with the ball in hand. Kick finds touch and then some. And now the line out forms. So with Bardak off, it looks like it's going to be Bottarini who will do the throwing. And it goes in quick. And now the tackle is made. Gamboa digs. Little counter ruck attempt there. He's taking his time, possibly setting up the box kick. He says use it, and now the ball is up. That one not the distance he was looking for, but it is pulled back in by Army, and they'll get back to work. Free says is available. Penn State real aggressive in the line speed. Tackle is made on Loudenbach. Anderson drops the shoulders and digs a few. Bottarini through. Now the kick into space is caught. Gatherer sends it back. Real well job to field there by Strickty. who says, I'm not going to kick it. It's a good tackle, but Gamboa winds up with it. Now Leslie, and it finds touch.
Interesting decision by Colby Strickty not to go straight to touch there or kick it deep, but a great fundamental tackle by that Penn State player to break him down, put us under pressure, drove us into touch. Penn State line out.
So Rossman from Penn State will throw in. They are looking to attack the full space for the line out, setting their jumper up way deep, but now pulling back in. And they go right to the front. It's tipped back, but then finds touch. And so it will wind up again to Penn State. Once again, the walk-up line out. Now they look to go toward the back, and it's brought down. Out to Sarkey's the 9, who now swings it. They're looking to get out the back. Pass not quite to hands. That pauses things. The hit is made, and now they look to recycle. Now the latch and drive. Penn State trying to get the numbers to do some work. Brought out to the right. Referee has the arm out. Still playing an advantage. Decide to go back to the right. Once again to the right. Winger slips one, loses the ball, and it goes out of bounds, but they'll come back for the penalty. Referee says, looked to me like not rolling, not quite sure. And now Penn State kicks to the corner, and they'll have the line out about 12 meters out.
To go back to the line out and comment on on how valuable it is to go quick is with that new law. If that other team can't even get a jumper up, you don't have to throw it straight.
It's a great point. It's a great point, yeah. Win on timing. Penn State shows some motion. It goes backward. And referee says that's going to be a penalty. No wrap tackle against Army. Or tackle without the ball. Did not quite see it. Penn State decides to once again line up as if to kick toward the corner, but possibly changes and now look to go to the tap. Contact is made. And now that would be a maul because the players are driving on and on their feet. Army joins to try to stop the forward progress. Now the ball is out. Tackle made. Out again. Gatherer looks for the crossfield kick. The mark is called and well fielded by Jack Reed, who decides to do the quick tap and carry on. Referee says you were not back 10 on the free kick. And so that's going to be a penalty advantage.
Very heads-up play by Noah Sanchez there with that mark call.
Apologies, Noah. I called that as Jack Reed. Was a heads-up play. Not sure if the advantage is over, but we'll see. And no, it's not. So referee says there are 2 penalties. Which one would you like? One for the not rolling and the other one for the offsides. So again, after the mark is called, you have to give 10 for the free kick. Kick finds touch near midfield.
I love creative rugby, but I think Penn State showed 2 strong tries playing around that same area of the field to kick away possession there is an interesting decision.
So substitutions on the Army side. Looks like Walsh goes off and Thompson comes on, who immediately comes in and fields the jump. Now the ball out. Loudenbeck. Still on his feet, gains a few more. Kick over. Once again, bounces in before it bounces out.
Solid kick by Colby there.
So the line out forms. It'll be Penn State throwing in just outside their 22. They look to go long. It goes over. It's gathered by Liskey, who brings it across. That one's lost forward. Knock on advantage being played. Thompson on the tackle. Now the gatherer looks to kick.
Oh,
It's tipped. The charge down works, but we're going to come back for the knock on advantage.
and the train's moving again.
That is a unique part of the game here and only here. Train in the background. That one came to a stop and got restarted. So the scrum forms, and it will be Penn State's put in because of the knock-on advantage being played. I did not see who got the charge down, but a good job to get their hands on the ball. And now inside the 22, Penn State will decide how to exit. Ball is in. And now out. Sarkey's on the left boot, sends it high. It's fielded. Ball sent back. Fielded, and now the mark is called. So good job by Schrichty to put it back. The free kick is taken, and now the quick line out. Army decides to play fast. Gamboa to find the foot. Here comes Chase. Loudenbeck. And that one, unfortunately, goes directly out. And so in front of the 22, directly out, Penn State will take the mark where the kick was formed. Substitution. And it looks like Penn State will send their flanker off. Durkash, the senior.
Three-man lineup our Penn State. I think this is the first time we've seen this tonight.
They go long. It's tipped. Bottarini finds the foot. And chases it himself. Pulls it in. What a great play. Unfortunately, could not stay in the field of play. You don't see it often, the kicking prop, but it happens occasionally, and that one worked out pretty well. Good job, Jacob Bottarini.
It's not a bad angle for the 50-22 form there.
He was close. He was close. Now the ball over again. Liskey Fields brings it out. It could have been Hartford on the ball. Comes out again. Loudenbeck shows, decides to tuck it away. And Boa recycles quickly. Not a lot there in that near gap. Gonna have to go again. Now the ball across. Out the back it goes. Real solid pass. The kick is met. Leslie tried to put it on his foot, but it was blocked. Sanchez picks up, finds the ground. Now Gamboa again. And referee says time is off. We're going to have to find out what the call is here. Maybe an injured player. So referee going to have a conversation here with the AR and just see if they saw anything there.
So when we kicked the ball, I forget who it was, and it got blocked, there was a little bit of, I looked back and I think it was Matt Leslie, number 14, who he was on the ground. Maybe there was some extracurricular there or some sort of playing the man without the ball as he was retreating after the block kick.
Yeah, could be. In that situation, sometimes, you know, if it went off the foot, someone could have been in front. And now a conversation. I do think possibly some foul play there.
Especially where that conversation's being had.
And that looks to be a going to the
Red.
pocket. A red. A red. Not quite sure, but we will try to get that story at some point. Penn State sends a player off, and that will be it. For that player. In the 72nd minute, it wouldn't have made much of a difference, except that that will likely result in a suspension of that player, oftentimes for 2 games or more. So real interesting, possibly direct head contact or maybe putting someone in a high degree of danger. Schrichty sends it, and now Army will have the line out at the 22. So looks like our clock here on the broadcast is about a minute or 2 ahead of the field clock. Of course, the official time kept on the field. Army shows maul, then splits through. Now Gamboa brings it. Loudenback drives the shoulder through. Botterini decides to go with the same, pushes the shoulder through. And unfortunately comes up in some discomfort. Ball is thrown forward, but gathered back in, and Benson is just in the right place at the right time. It's like a recurring theme. Dots another one down, and what great support. So Loudenback takes the pass, bobbles it forward, but regathers it, finds Benson on the quick one, who dots it down. Unfortunately, it looks like Jake Botterini is going to be coming off the field with at minimum a stinger in the arm, and let's hope for the best there, but coming off certainly favoring that left arm. Looks like Schrichty will line up for the kick. It's up, but it's going to push in front of the posts and not get through. Looks like Gabe Savage will come back in as an injury replacement.
Hoping for the best for Jacob as well. Looked like he went off with a little bit of a shoulder, something on the arm. And then in total today, including Dakota Wagner in that's 2 props for the Black Knights. Gabe Savage was on, now he's back off. I don't know if that means we're playing 14 as well.
Kick is up. Leslie finds it, steps through the first contact. Now the offload, well taken by Sanchez, but not able to keep it straight, so that one goes out. And it's back to where the kick was taken from. Penn State will throw in on the line out. Now it's up, it's taken, and now it's brought out. Showing some numbers in the wide pod. Now we're going to try to bring it back this way. Thought about the offload, decides to keep it. That one goes all the way through, near the sideline. Multiples on the tackle. They're going to try to find touch, and they do. Army going to feel real good about that one. Tie up the tackler and drive him out of bounds and take the line out there.
You know, Mike, this is kind of interesting. We're up 48-14, Navy in 8 days from today. I think we're intentionally not putting Gabe Savage back on the field as an additional prop just to make sure we don't go down another prop.
Meanwhile, Isaac Carter just breaks through, offload off the ground, 7 style to Thompson. Now Gamboa looks, trying to find something, not a lot there. Unfortunately, Carter up slow. This time it's handled. The poach is on. Referee says you got that one. So Penn State will take it. Carter back up, possibly just landed on the ball. Now Penn State trying to get out there and stretch the width. Looking to the outside with some pace. Good tackle in the width. And the penalty for not releasing. Now the ball out. Wrapped up at the ankles. Penn State still looking. Met with a very strong hit there. Again, double collision. Penn State taking the ball from deep and doing a good job to get up to speed. Now this is a bit of an errant pass. Gamboa fields, and it's just going to be a foot race. Does a good job to find Leslie, who steps back in. Now over the top to Loudenback. And he's going to walk this one in for 5 more. Pretty work by the 3 backs here on the right side of the screen. I will give some credit there to Isaac Gamboa, who runs an incredibly smart line, dishes the ball and continues his line, creating a little traffic. That allows the ball to come out, eventually find Loudenback.
Super intelligent play, and he was setting it up for like 15 meters, communicating with that Matt Leslie, and then Matt Leslie breaks the tackle, finds the offload to Chance Loudenback, who dots it down. But incredibly heads-up play. An incredibly smart rugby player is Isaac Gamboa.
Yeah, I think that's an impressive thing there, because certainly you can get a little try-line fever and just look for the sprint. Didn't feel like you would have it. So 2 more are going to be added. I believe that was Schrichty who gets the 2, gets the extras. And now the score shows 55-14 with about 2 minutes left to play, a minute maybe. So time getting short, and Army continues on the attack. Loudenback finds the deck. Benson drives on. Couple of more. Anderson. Gamboa looking. Oh, that's a interesting call there. Referee says, yeah, you put your hands in. That one came from the AR. Had to have, because it was on this side of the ball. Time check. Referee says, so we still got at least a minute, so let's go ahead and finish this out. Now the kick. Kept in. Real good play by Gatherer. Now the ball up. Well placed. Stays in. Penn State now going to try to redirect and bring it around the other side. As a little bit of snow begins to fall here at West Point, New York. We've had a little bit of everything. It's been a great game so far. Now, Penn State looking. Defend. They're able to take the ball down. Now the ball recycled. Still alive. That's the 17. Once again, coming out, looking to bring the ball out to the back. Good tackle, but no release of the ball, not held. Now the through pass. Doesn't get very far with it. Still looking is Sarkis. This one's regathered. Referee says you're okay. And that could be Liskey who picks it up. Bounces off. And now Schrichty tries to find touch, but referee says before he found touch. It was a knock-on, but we can end the game on a knock-on, not a penalty, and so that will do it. So with a scoreline of 55-14, it's Army West Point with the victory, and really a pretty dominant one. I mean, Colin, I don't know. I think if you take away anything from this game and you're an Army fan, you take away exactly how much this team can do. This team looked real good.
Absolutely, Mike. Coach asked them, he challenged them to give their new best, and I think they gave their new best tonight. And what a great time to give your new best as we enter Army-Navy week for a Star Series matchup back here at Anderson Rugby Complex. Hoping the best for Dakota Wagner and Jacob Botterini as we enter that week, but we have to be confident in what we put out there tonight. Attack looked strong other than the 5 minutes at the end of the first half. A complete performance. And I know Coach is going to get into those 5 minutes, see what went awry, but a great performance. Offense, attack, transition, counterattack, really, really strong performance. And I think it was led by Isaac Gamboa all over the pitch, smart rugby, multiple tries, leading the team around, and John Benson, who seems to always be in the right place in the right time, which is what you expect out of your open side flanker, the always there for the offload, ready to dot it down between the posts. And once again, he did that. That just doesn't happen. That happens because of work rate and effort off the ball.
Yeah, real good stuff. And I think you nailed it. I mean, those two players certainly stood out for me. It sets up a good one for next week. I mean, right back here next week, it'll be Army versus Navy. So Army, let's call them maybe 4 or 5 in Rugby East, and Navy walks in at number 1. And number 1 overall in CRA. So that sets up the clash that you want out of these two teams. And certainly I guess I would say that Army brought it tonight. We hope that bring it again next week. So with that, we'll sign off. We'll leave it there. For those of you at home who will be switching over to the B-side game, we'll be bringing that on another channel. But for now, thank you so much to everybody for joining us here at Army West Point. On behalf of the entire crew, my name is Mike Eisenhart. Thanks to Army West Point Athletics and Night Vision for having us. We'll see you again real soon.